ChatGPT. Relate ACIM to the movie All is True. All is true through the lens of A Course in Miracles. All is True is a reflective and deeply human story about identity, legacy, family, regret, forgiveness, and the stories we tell about ourselves. Through the lens of A Course in Miracles ACIM, it becomes a meditation on the difference between worldly accomplishments and true peace. At its heart, the film asks, when the roles are stripped away, who are you really? This is one of the central questions of ACIM. The end of the role. The film begins after the height of William Shakespeare's public life. His theater is gone. His professional identity is fading. His fame can no longer provide the same sense of purpose. The ego builds identity around roles: writer, teacher, parent, success, failure, celebrity, worker. The ego says, "This is who I am." ACIM gently asks, who are you without the role? The movie explores what happens when a lifetime identity begins to loosen. The stories we tell. The title itself is fascinating. All is true. Throughout the film, various characters hold different versions of events, different memories, different interpretations, different narratives. Each believes their version is true. ACIM teaches that perception is interpretation. The ego constantly creates stories to explain the world. The Holy Spirit looks beyond stories toward truth. The film repeatedly reveals how difficult it can be to distinguish facts from interpretations. Legacy. One of the major themes of the film is legacy. What remains after a life has been lived? What will people remember? What impact did I make? The ego seeks immortality through accomplishment, recognition, reputation, influence. ACIM teaches that only love extends forever. Not achievements, not titles, not accomplishments, only love. The film quietly asks whether external accomplishments can ever provide the peace the heart seeks. Regret in the past. Much of Shakespeare's inner struggle revolves around unresolved issues from the past. Relationships, missed opportunities, family wounds, old grief. The ego constantly returns to the past. It seeks explanations, justifications, alternative outcomes. ACIM teaches that healing occurs in the present. The past survives only through the meaning assigned to it now. The movie beautifully portrays the burden of carrying unfinished stories. Family as a classroom. The film focuses heavily on family relationships, misunderstandings, pain, love, distance, reconciliation. ACIM teaches that relationships are the primary classroom for forgiveness. The people closest to us often expose the deepest hidden beliefs. The film repeatedly illustrates how healing occurs when defensiveness begins to soften. Grief and innocence. The loss of Shakespeare's son remains a central wound throughout the story. The grief influences many of his perceptions and relationships. ACIM teaches that grief often rests upon the belief that love has been lost. The Holy Spirit gently reinterprets loss by revealing that love itself remains untouched. The movie explores the long shadow cast by grief and the possibility of eventual healing. The search for truth. The title suggests certainty, yet the story reveals ambiguity, conflicting memories, incomplete understanding, unanswered questions. This parallels a key lesson in ACIM. I do not know what anything, including this, means. The ego believes it knows. The Holy Spirit teaches humility. The film repeatedly demonstrates the limitations of personal certainty. Forgiveness. As the story unfolds, forgiveness becomes increasingly important. Not only forgiveness of others, but forgiveness of oneself. The ego often carries old judgments for decades. ACIM teaches that forgiveness releases the mind from the burden of maintaining those judgments. The healing occurs when the need to preserve grievance weakens. The central reflection. The ego watches all is true and asks, what will people remember about me? The Holy Spirit watches all is true and asks, what remains when the story of me is set aside? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a contemplation of identity, mortality, and the search for lasting meaning. Shakespeare's journey is ultimately not about his works, reputation, or accomplishments. It is about facing the human heart beneath the public image. The deepest message may be, the world measures a life by achievements and legacy. Love measures a life by the willingness to forgive, join, and extend peace. When the roles fall away, what remains is not the story we told about ourselves, but the love we allowed to shine through it. Go to mwge.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.